thinking of all of you today across Texas. I know the rise in case numbers is causing fear and apprehension. People are frightened, and they're especially worried about their parents, their grandparents, their loved ones who are most at risk. This virus is tough, but Texas is tougher. We can stop the spread, but it's up to all of us to do it. We have to step up and do both the simple things and the hard things to keep our families and our neighbors safe. Wear a mask, wash your hands, stay home if you can, and socially distance when you go out. I want every single American to know, if you're sick, if you're struggling, if you're worried about how you're going to get through the day, I will not abandon you. We're all in this together. We'll fight this together. And together, we'll emerge from this stronger than we were before we began. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Texas is the biggest battleground state.
And in 2020,
we have the opportunity
to turn our state blue
up and down the ballot.
We have the opportunity to expand access to affordable health care, finance our public schools, strengthen our economy, and take meaningful action on gun violence. There's so much more in the United States Senate.
We have the opportunity to pave the way towards a more sustainable future at the Texas Railroad Commission.
we have the opportunity
to elect judges
and the justices
who will restore fairness, equality,
and balance in our courts,
we have the opportunity
to shape the political future of Texas
and repair the broken systems
that disenfranchise working families in our great state.
We have the opportunity to ensure that Texans in positions of power
embrace empathy,
open minds,
and swing open the doors of possibility.
By working together
and uniting behind our shared vision of a more inclusive world,
we will win back our state.
We will win because we have to.
We have to put an end to the hate, the lack of access, and the suffering.
We have to deliver on the fair shot that every Texan deserves.
Our cause,
our movement,
is about the restoration of justice and the expansion of opportunity.
None of this can be accomplished unless we work together.
In order to bring lasting change to Texas,
we must work alongside every down ballot candidate, every activist, and every Texas Democrat
to continue building the largest democratic movement our state has ever seen.
We're asking you to be a part of this historic fight.
Together, we will create a Texas that we can all believe and thrive in.
Together, we will save Texas and in turn, save the entire country.
Join us.
Join us.
When he was presented with that number, he said, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is because you are who you are. He said he didn't tell us or give people a warning of it because he didn't want to panic the American people. You don't panic. He panicked. You can't fix the economy until you fix the COVID crisis. And he has no intention of doing anything about making it better for you all at home. He's Putin's puppy. He still refuses to even say anything to Putin about the bounty on the heads of American soldiers. My son was in Iraq. He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes. You're the worst president America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on,
let me-
vote. He cannot stop you from being able to determine the outcome of this election.
There's a new way coming, and it's just around the bend.
It's time for America to get back up.
There's a brand new morning.
We can build a more perfect union.
That belongs to you and me.
The days of divisiveness
Yes, a new world
will soon be over.
that belongs to you and me.
Let's get back up.
Yes, a new world.
We're decent, we're brave, we're resilient people.
Coming in,
We can't believe again.
coming in.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Welcome to this Biden-Harris campaign event, Texas Pre-Debate Phone Bank. Please welcome Deputy State Director Jen Longoria.
Hey, Team Texas. Welcome to our pre-debate phone bank with special guests Selena Montoya and Ashley Judd. I am so overjoyed to welcome you all tonight. My name is Jennifer Longoria. I'm the Deputy State Director for Biden for Texas, and I'm just so excited that you are all here. So many of you have been working toward this election for years, and now we have 13 days to leave it all on the field. Your voices, your stories, your dedication is what's going to get us over the line. So I met our first guest in 2007 when we were both volunteering on a presidential campaign. By 2018, she was running for state rep and here in Texas, and I was serving as her field director in one of the reddest districts in the county. In fact, it was the seat held by former Republican Speaker of the House, Joe Straus. No Democrat had run in the district for 15 years, but Selena was the perfect candidate for the job. She knocked on doors every weekend and phone banked on weeknights. She reached out to parts of her district that had gone unrepresented, and she fought so hard to have their voices heard. When all was said and done, her campaign came up 8,000 votes short. But now she's fighting harder than ever to close that gap and help flip the Texas House. Please welcome State House Rep candidate for District 121, Selena Montoya.
Oh, thank you, Jen, so much for that generous introduction. And welcome, everyone. This is going to be quite a night. So while we are preparing to watch this historic debate, and I'm sure many of us have been on pins and needles trying to guess just what might happen, there are lots of voters, potential voters, sitting at home tonight, maybe not even watching the debate. Maybe they're cooking dinner, maybe they're getting ready for a second shift on a job, maybe they're trying to get their kids to bed in a time when lots of our children are still learning at home and relieving themselves from the stress of these days that are really uncertain for a lot of us. And so our job tonight is to reach out to these folks and give them the confidence that they need, the encouragement to go to the polls and make sure that their vote, their voice is heard. So tonight, when you're talking to these people, remember, they're just like us. They're getting by, paying their bills, taking care of kids, maybe taking care of old and aging parents. And sometimes just it's hard enough to take care of ourselves. And we're going to make these calls with compassion, knowing that this is a big step for a lot of folks who might be voting for the first time. Some folks who might be voting for the first time as Democrats. And that is what's exciting about tonight. There's a new opportunity to engage people here in Texas like we've never seen before. And I'm thrilled to be here with you and to be a part of it. Not only are we going to be flipping Texas blue, not only are we going to be sending an incredible list of strong women to not only the State House and Senate, but also to the US legislature. We are going to elect an historic duo at the top of the ticket. I'm so proud to be a supporter and an endorsee of Vice President, don't want to get ahead of myself now, do I? Vice President Biden and Senator Harris. Thank you again for joining us this evening. We're going to turn Texas blue together.
Yeah. Good deal. Thank you so much, Selena. I am so excited to see a friendly face. Just that I didn't even unmute myself. So next we're going to hear from the woman leading our statewide field efforts. She's a Rio Grande Valley native. She's working on her third presidential campaign cycle, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the importance of what we're doing tonight. Thank you, Selena, and here is Terry Bermea.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Jen. Hello, Texas. I'm so excited for tonight. I know we're all fired up to watch Vice President Biden take the debate stage tonight. But before he takes the stage, we're going to be doing some of the most crucial work that we could be doing in these last days. And that is making calls to Texans all across the state to make sure that they have a plan to vote. I know that our early voting numbers are already breaking records, but in order to win Texas, we need to continue to turn out more voters every single day here in the Lone Star State. Phone banking is one of the most powerful actions you can be taking right now. So if you're here tonight, thank you so much. These conversations we know are making all of the difference, and we've seen that our people that we're talking to are turning out at higher rates. We're making sure that they're visualizing their plan to vote, that they know what they need to take when they go and vote, and that when they get there, they're just ready to go to cast their ballot for Joe and Kamala. So this is the most important election of our lifetime. We know that. And the time to take action is now. If you said, I'm going to help out later, later is now. And we have 12 days to leave it all out on the field and deliver our 38 electoral votes for Vice President Biden, Senator Harris, to send MJ Hagar to the Senate, to send more Texas Democrats to Congress, and to flip the Texas State House. And when the polls close on November 3rd, we want to be able to say that we did everything in our power to make sure that we win and that we did these things. We are doing phone banks every single day at 9, 12, 3, and 6. So if you're not signed up to volunteer with us, please make sure that you do that with the link in the chat. If you've signed up and you're here tonight, thank you so much. And if you just realized, you know what, I can sign up for 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 more shifts with y'all, then please make sure you do so in the chat. And that way we can say on November 3rd that we're sending a Texas-sized message to the country and the world. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, for making calls with us, for being part of this fight with us. Let's go win this, Texas. Thank you so much. Back to you, Jen.
Thank you, Terry. I'm so excited to be working with fellow Texans who have been in this fight for years and years. Like many of you volunteers, we've knocked the doors, we have, made the calls. For years, we've been making calls into other states, and finally, to be able to call Texans is really awesome. It's a great feeling, and I've just been excited about it the whole time. Obviously, this year with COVID, we haven't been able to have the in-person connection that we have had in the past years. We haven't been able to be in offices. However, we do have 3 really cool supply depots where you can pick up literature or yard signs. Those are located in Houston, in Dallas, and El Paso. And we'll go ahead and throw those addresses in the chat for y'all, just so that after you make your calls and watch your debate and you're ready for, throwing that yard sign in the yard or making sure that one last neighbor has that piece of lit to make their decision, they'll be able to do that. Okay, so we are almost in it. I know that the last debate was a little bit excitable, and there were times where I was covering my eyes, but I'm excited for this one, and I know that Joe Biden is going to do a great job. Let me see where we are right now. We're running quickly on time, so, okay. Good deal. Okay, good deal. It looks like we are still waiting for our special guest. and I'm excited, you're excited. But we are going to see if I've got an organizer on the line right now that might be able to say a few words about their experience here in Texas on the ground. It's one of the first times that we've had widespread organizers from a presidential campaign be able to, reach out and talk to other Texas voters. Let me check in with Yasmin. Oh, here we go. I got it. Okay, looking at so many screens, y'all. It's 2020. I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic to June Borst, one of our amazing organizers. Many of you probably know them. So let's see if we can get them on the line.
Hey, Jen, can everyone hear me okay? Awesome, great. Guys, I'm so excited to see you all here. Some familiar faces, some new. It's just so exciting because I know that we have all been working so hard, telling friends and family that this is the most important election of our lifetime. I know because I see so many of you in the debrief rooms when we check out with you, and I get to shut up for once in my job and just listen. But there's something that I think we're all asking ourselves. Something that I ask myself every morning when I wake up. Did I come this far to come this far? I'll let you in on a secret. Joe Biden didn't come this far just to get on that stage and lose. I'll let you in on something else. Our fellow Americans did not quarantine for the past 7 months to allow a president who has 200,000 people's lives on his hands just to win. We didn't do that. We trusted each other. We stayed in our homes. We believed in the science. And even when it came time to defend our Black friends and families and neighbors, we showed up. We wore masks because we didn't come this far just to come this far. So while you're here today, I've got to ask you, did you come to this Zoom just to get here? To have your name on the screen? Well, I don't think you did, because if you're like me, you came here for a reason. You came here because even though it was hard, even though it was challenging, even though it feels like literal gravity is against us with everyone telling us that Texas can't flip, I want to let you know that when we get to the top of that mountain, and when the daybreak light comes over this country and we see a blue America because we flipped Texas, I know that we will all know it had been worth it. We will not fail those that we lost along the way because we know the job we are here to do is too important not to fail. And so I want to ask you something urgent. It's easy to do, but few do it. My amazing colleagues posted a link in the chat earlier. And it's true that with that link, you are going to be able to call hundreds of voters tonight. And in fact, we're going to be right there beside you. But there are so many more Americans, if we learned anything from the last election, who don't know about this fight, who aren't involved, who for some reason or another, whether they believe Biden's got this in the bag or that Trump will die of coronavirus before the election, which is not a guarantee. It's not. And even if it was, it will not save us. What's going to save us? Showing up, doing the work, and flipping this state. For the past 40 years, there hasn't been an organizing department in Texas. For years, my colleagues and I had to look so many people in the eye and say, why? Why can't Texas flip? It was hard. I'm sure if you ever got into a fight with someone about that question, it was hard for you too. And I'm going to ask you to do one more hard thing. Easy to do, but hard to actually do it. Will you take that link and text 5 people that you know want to defeat Donald Trump? 5 people. 5 guaranteed votes. 5 more calls that can be made. 5 more people who can believe in democracy again after 4 years that we have endured. But we didn't come this far just to come this far. We didn't survive through these past 4 years just to say we did it. We came here for a reason. We showed up for a reason. And now it's time to get to work. I'm so proud of you for showing up. I can be scared too sometimes. It's easy for me to get on this laptop and say some inspiring words. It's even harder for me to call people that I know have my life in their hands. As a Black American, as a trans American, as an American, we need you. I'm not asking you as a Biden staff member. I'm not even asking you as a friend, although I wish we could be friends. I'm sure that we can. If you're here, it's because you believe in decency. You believe in honesty. You believe in getting the job done, no matter how hard it is. So can I ask you something? Can you just text 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that you know that link? I know you can't promise that they'll sign up, but you can promise me that you'll try. Because we didn't come this far just to get this far. Thank you, and let's keep up the great work.
Thank you so much, June. You are my heart. You are one of the reasons that I can keep coming back to work every day. So everyone, be sure that you're texting your friends. Be sure that you're making that one last ask, and know that we are here with you. We are making those calls and putting our hearts on the line too. So without further ado, I want to let you know that I'm super excited because we do have our next guest with us. She is not only an amazingly talented Golden Globe and Emmy nominated actress, she's one of us. She's never been one to sit on the sidelines quietly, whether it's at a Kentucky Wildcats game or fighting for humanitarian rights on a global stage. She was featured on the cover of Time magazine's 2017 Person of the Year issue, honoring the thousands of people across the world that have come forward with their experiences with sexual harassment and assault. And all the while, she supported Democrats up and down the ticket. Please welcome a woman who's in this fight to win it, Ashley Judd.
Hell yeah, y'all. Hello, good evening. I am so inspired by how many people are on this call. So I have a terrible case of bronchitis. I have my fuzzy blanket around me. Please pardon me and my scratchy voice and my occasional coughs. But I am so fired up, and I want to know that on the 3rd of November, or when the last vote is counted, and that's something that we're going to talk about, patience and democracy in action. Every vote counts, and we're going to wait until every vote is counted. I want to know that I have left it all on the floor for Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris, because this is the election of our lifetime. So thank you so much for the opportunity to visit with you tonight. I know that we've got a lot of young people here with us this evening. And so I wanted to tell you just a little story about how I became so politically active in the first place as a 19-year-old, tell you a little bit about why I'm all in for Biden and Harris. And then talk about how I'm going to be digging deep these next, we only have 2 Tuesdays left, y'all. 2 Tuesdays. It's getting very exciting. So I come from the coal fields of Eastern Kentucky, where labor was tremendously exploited by the big monopolies, the coal companies, who basically came in with the quarter in their pocket and said, hey, we want to buy the mineral rights, which meant that they could strip off the trees and pull up the soil and dig out the coal. And exploited the men, and the women didn't have any choices. And that's where my people came from. My great-grandmommy didn't have enough food in her stomach as a teenager and was sent to live with another family who could provide for her properly. I was molested for the first time that I remember when I was 7 years old. So we had a pretty hard time growing up. But then at the University of Kentucky, I was in an all-white sorority, and this old man on the board of trustees used the N-word. And my teacher and my hero and the love of my life at the time was the Black cook in my sorority house. And she helped give me the courage to stage an all campus-wide walkout of classes protesting the ongoing membership of this man on the board of trustees. because he was an old racist. And Barbara taught me about institutional racism. She taught me that she would take a paycheck from the school, but she would never send her children there. Now, none of this makes me good, right, and perfect. It just means I reached the up with which I would not put. And since then, my feminism has been about race, it has been about class, and it has been about, obviously, gender. And then I found out that marital rape was still legal in my state. And so that's how I became a feminist and very egalitarian in my approach to sex and gender. Cut to Hollywood, a beautiful career for which I'm very thankful. And a presidential candidate asked me to introduce him at a campaign. And I've been a surrogate for Democratic candidates up and down the ticket, as was explained, ever since then. And this is, to me, the most important thing I could possibly be doing. And, Joe Biden is the author and, thank God, promoter of the Violence Against Women Act, which is stalled in the Senate. And he has promised that in the first 100 days in office, if the Senate doesn't get it done, he will reauthorize it. The Paycheck Fairness Act is on the line, and if we want a stimulus package, we could pay women equally for the work we do. That's $454 billion that would automatically get poured into the American economy. But y'all know all this. That's why you're here. So let's talk about voting. So part of what each of us can do as an influencer and an amplifier and a surrogate, because that's what each of you is or are. I've been talking Kentucky, so my grammar is all mixed up, is to make sure that we have the power of accurate information about our election, because mail-in voting is safe and it has been used for many election cycles. We don't need to promulgate the disinformation and the lies that our opponent is addicted to. We give information that is correct and accurate, and we bring the calm, steady voice of a functioning democracy to our electorate. And then when we give people the power to plan their vote and to go out and vote for the right folks, we then talk about how each state has a different law for when they start counting those mail-in and absentee ballots. In some states, it's a couple days before, like some of the returns that we're seeing already. And in a state like Pennsylvania, they don't start counting those ballots until the polls actually close. And so we need to make sure that we talk about the patience of democracy in action, and we hold our municipal workers accountable when they're tired, when they're in airless rooms and they're drinking bad coffee from styrofoam cups, which should be banned, that we make sure that they are not just that we didn't hold out promise to people who are first-time voters, who are Black voters, who are Latinx voters, who are elderly voters, who have pre-existing conditions and are worried about voting during a respiratory pandemic, but that we give everyone's vote the chance and the right to be counted, because we know what Donald Trump is going to do. If he's ahead in some of these swing states and there's the red mist and it looks like in-person voting favors him, when these mail-in votes come and there's going to be the blue paradigm and it shows that the Democratic Party is actually ahead, he's going to say it was stolen, it was fraudulent, he's the outsider, he's been, treated crookedly. And this is where our calm and our poise and your voices and amplification are going to make an enormous difference. So that's the big part of my message for y'all tonight. And I also want to invite you to dig a little deeper and to sign up for some more shifts. Yes, it looks like we're ahead in the polls, but I'm a Kentucky basketball fan. I lived through the Duke 1992 Christian Laettner shot. It is never over until it's over. And not only do we want a substantial popular vote victory, we want a big electoral college victory, because this guy is a crook and he's a thief and he's a misogynist and he's all these other things. So make sure that we stay until the end. And, as I said, I've got bronchitis, but I'm here with you. There's no place I should be. And I'm working all weekend and through the election. I signed up to be an election defender. My body will be out there in the community to which I've been assigned to make sure that people who don't look like me can have a safe, dignified, harassment-free space in which to exercise their constitutional right to a vote. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be with you a little bit this evening. I love you. I respect you. I appreciate you. If there's anything I ever can do for you, you can find me on social media. And now it's time to roll up our sleeves and get to work.
Thank you so much for being here with us. Rebecca, you're up. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for coming to talk to us. I hope you feel better soon. My name is Rebecca. I am the Deputy Digital Organizing Director of Communities with the Texas Democratic Party and Biden for President. Thank you all so much for being here and for phone banking with us before you start cheering Joe on at the debate tonight. But before we start phone banking, I would like to ask y'all if y'all have talked to your own friends and family and an entire extended network about voting yet. If you haven't, I encourage you to download the Vote Joe app. If you could bring up the next slide, please. Please download the Vote Joe app by texting Vote Joe or app to 30330, or by searching the Vote Joe app in the App Store or the Google Play Store on your phone and installing it. This is an app on your phone you can have on you all the time to share all the voting resources that we have here at the TDP with every Texas voter in your life. And it's also super important, even though we're like over a week into early voting and like almost 6 million people have voted, we need to know who has voted and figure out who we still need to talk to cast a ballot between now and November 3rd, so we can deliver our 38 Electoral College votes to Joe Biden on November 3rd. While you're downloading the app, I'm going to play you a really quick video about how to set up your account and how to fill out a report, and we'll talk about why that's important and how you can be part of Team Texas, and then we can win this Vote Joe leaderboard game that's going on in the app right now. Could you play the video, please?
Hi, Victor here, and I'm going to quickly show you how to get set up and start taking action on the Vote Joe app today. I've already gone through and downloaded the app, so I'm just going to go ahead and open it. Press start, select the language. I'll select English, put in your zip code, first name, last name, and then your phone number. To log on or create an account, I'm going to go continue with email. Here you can put in your email and a unique password, or if you're logging back on, your email and the password that you've created. You're going to be asked to set up notifications. I would say yes. And once you're logged in, this is going to be your homepage. So this will be the feed of actions and updates from the campaign. For our purposes right now, however, you're going to notice a button at the top right-hand corner that says Take Action. Click on that. I'm going to press with a friend or contact. So Vote Joe, that's a really cool thing where it lets you connect your folks to the voter file. So you can let us know how conversations with your people are going. So I'll press Sync Contacts. I would take a moment to read this, but when you press continue, your phone's going to ask you yes or no. I'm going to say yes. This part will take longer or shorter depending on how many people are on your phone. For me, it won't take much more than a few more seconds. So I actually had a conversation with my friend not too long ago, so I'm going to look them up right here. Jan Kelly. This one looks like it hasn't yet been matched to the voter file, but you can do that pretty quickly here. So you want to put in a first name, a last name, age range. Always play it safe and do all. State, we register to vote by state, so you want to make sure to have the correct name. Pro tip, if you're looking somebody up on the voter file, it'll help you a lot if you look them up by their legal name. And for me, this is a situation where a zip code will help narrow it down. I'll do search voter file. That's the one. I'm going to continue to report. So definitely supporting Biden. Ballot has already been requested and is interested in volunteering. And press send to campaign. And then from here, continue having conversations with other friends and rely on the Vote Joe app to let us know how those conversations are going.
All right. And that's how the basics of how you use the Vote Joe app and how to file those reports. Those reports are important because it helps us figure out who we still need to talk to and who you can be hold accountable for casting a ballot between now and November 3rd if they haven't already. And if people in your life who have already voted, let us know so we can stop calling them. That's always great. And every time you fill out a report, you get 50 points. This is the team code for Team Texas, 614462. Every time you fill out a report, Texas for Biden climbs that leaderboard. And, we're the biggest battleground state. The more reports we file, the higher up we'll climb on this leaderboard, the more we'll show our power as a Democratic stronghold for years to come. And we can start just by using this app to engage the people we already know. Thank you so much for having me. We have more Vote Joe trainings this weekend and community events where you can meet other people who share your interests and values and connect with them online. In this age of coronavirus, we're all craving community. So there's many ways to build community besides just where you're from, where you're at, and just volunteering. It's a great way to just talk to the people you already know and make sure they turn out if you're scared to talk to people who you don't know over the phone for the first time. So please join us if you can. We have events every day until Election Day to turn out the people we already know in our entire extended communities to make sure we flip Texas blue on November 3rd.
Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks to everyone for being on. It was such a great pre-program, and now it's time to get to work. So we're about to get ready to phone bank, and I am going to turn it over to the one and only June, who we heard from a little bit ago, to take over and start the training so that we can go and talk to as many Texans as we possibly can and make sure that they have a plan to vote. So June, take it away.